And we got a very special edition of Maya's latest news to keep us in the groove. Maya, are you there, my friend?
Yes.
Yes, you are. Good. And Maya, why is today a special version of your show?
Because Adam Rose is calling in.
Because we got Adam Rose! That's right. Yeah, there he is. He's on screen. He's on TV. You are now hospital famous, Adam. But Maya, go ahead and take it away, my friend.
Okay, so first, I just want to say thank you so much for calling in. I'm so excited to be talking to you, and you're actually my 150th interview.
Oh my God, congratulations on 150. That's insane. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Maya, for having me on. I feel honored to be your 150th guest.
Thank you. So my first question for you is who or what inspired you to start acting?
Oh, that's a good question. So when I was 8 years old, I think I was already really into performing and acting out and misbehaving. And when I was 8, my brother actually got stopped on the street by like a commercial producer or something like that. Thought he had a nice face, set him up with an audition or something. He didn't book it, but he liked what he was doing. Someone in our building knew a talent manager, set up a meeting for my brother. I begged and pleaded to go and said I wouldn't say anything, and I just wanted to go and see what they do there. And I went, and I wouldn't shut up. And then the manager signed us both, and that's kind of how I started acting professionally as a kid.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you've guest starred in so many different shows. Have you had a favorite project that you've been a part of?
Oh man, I've definitely had a few. I think the first thing that comes to mind is Merry Happy Whatever, because it was the first time that I felt like I was part of the family of a show. And we spent so much time together, and I loved what we were doing. And, I got to know the writers really well and everybody on the crew. So that series, even though we're not getting a second season, unfortunately, it will always hold a very dear place in my heart, that one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, of all the characters you've played, has there been one that you've related to the most?
I guess Max from Veronica Mars is probably one that I related to, just because I felt like he was kind of a, he was a go-getter. He was enterprising. He sold test answers and stuff. He's kind of always hustling, and was an independent thinker. And so he might be somebody that I relate to for sure on some days.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you're on the new show, LA's Finest. How did that opportunity come about?
So very similarly to any other acting job, I had an audition for it, and found out a couple weeks later. It's always fun when you get to do a job where it sort of says that you're going to be on for an episode, and then it might keep going after that, but they don't really know. And then you do the first episode, and then they invite you back, and then they invite you back again. And so I think by the end of the second season, I think I did 6 episodes of that show. So that it's always nice when they invite you back, and I had a blast working on that show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you were in the movie The Squid and the Whale with Jesse Eisenberg, who I actually...
You interviewed him.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't see the interview, but I saw that listed.
Thanks. Yeah. I still can't believe that happened. Just like I can't believe this is happening right now. So
you're sweet.
Yeah. So, what was it like to be a part of such a highly acclaimed movie?
Well, obviously, when you're working on it, you have no idea how it's going to be received. So when we were working on it, it just felt like we were doing this independent movie that was kind of run and gun. You know, we stole some shots like on the subway that we didn't actually have permits for. You know, so things like that were happening. We had no idea that it was going to get nominated for an Oscar and like be this, you know, wildly acclaimed and really like blew up Noah Baumbach as a writer director as well. But funny story about Jesse Eisenberg. I knew him before we did that movie together because he starred in a play called The Gathering that was being done at a theater in New York City on the Upper East Side called the Jewish Repertory Theater. And he, while he was doing that show, booked a series that was being done here in LA. And so he had to leave the show and they needed a replacement for him. And I was the guy that replaced Jesse in that theater piece before he came out here to do that series. And so we spent like a couple months together as I was learning his role and he was teaching me. And so we ended up becoming friends. And then we got to work together again during The Squid and the Whale, like, I don't know, 5 years later or something like that.
Oh, that's so cool.
I know.
Yeah. So I love Mary Happy Whatever. And
Oh, thank you.
your character Todd, he's so funny. He just cracks me up.
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite episode to film?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably my favorite episode was after spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it, after me and Patsy find out we're pregnant. There's a really sweet but funny episode where me and Patsy are throwing like a game night, like a Parisian themed game night. And it ends with, and like the power goes out at the end and it ends with this really sweet moment. As we've been fighting about like what religion our kid is going to be practicing because I'm Jewish and she's Christian. And yeah, it was just a really sweet episode that kind of incorporated all of these different, issues and important discussions that every family, I'm sure, is used to hearing about. And so, and then it obviously had like a humorous slant on the whole thing. And so, yeah, it's always nice when you're doing a comedy and then there's also this like heart that goes with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you prepare for a role when you don't relate to the character?
All right. So, yeah. So, I have actually played a bunch of, like bad guys on those shows like Bones and Without a Trace and what they call procedurals, right? Like Law and Order and things like that. And I've done that a few times. And I guess when you're playing roles like that, you really just get to let your imagination go wild. I think we've all seen characters that are, bad guys or killers or something like that. And I guess playing with cliches and things like that is always fun. So instead of, playing characters menacing or, obviously evil in some way, it's always fun to kind of like flip it on its head and maybe it's a killer with a smile. And it can almost be scarier or more interesting. So I think it just starts with flipping cliches on their head and also drawing from movies and TV shows that we've seen with characters like that we all know and love.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if somebody narrated your life, who would it be and why?
Morgan Freeman, because he should narrate everyone's life. I mean, I feel like everybody probably says the exact same thing. Is it always Morgan Freeman?
A lot of the times, yeah.
I mean, it's got to be. Yeah, like, if you have a choice in the matter, you want it to be Morgan Freeman. I mean, I guess there's probably more appropriate ones for me, like I don't know, like Mel Brooks or something like that. I don't know. I have no, probably be some old gravelly Jewish man. And then at the end of the movie, you find out it's me when I'm old.
So if you could have any song playing to announce your entrance into a room, what would it be?
Ooh, I like that. What would I want? I mean, it's got to be something like Glorious. Maybe like Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. That's the song that comes to my head for some reason. I love Queen. And they have like their music like pumps me up. So I feel like maybe that.
Oh, cool.
Do you know that song, Maya?
Yeah.
Don't stop me now. Like it's a good like workout song if you're like, trying to get your heart rate up.
Yeah.
There it is. A real good time. Yes.
So your videos on Instagram are hilarious. What
Thank
made
you.
you decide to start posting those?
So yeah, I mean, it's true that I wasn't really posting videos on Instagram very much before probably a few months ago. It was mainly pictures and photography. I think it was probably, I blame TikTok because I started making videos on TikTok that a lot of people seem to like. And eventually, especially with the shutdown, like I wasn't really going very many places. And so there's not really a lot of things to photograph. So all I really had to post were these videos that I was making for TikTok. And then with some of them, people on Instagram seem to like them even more than they do on TikTok. So now I'm kind of spreading my wings a little bit and posting on both. But Instagram is definitely kind of like I felt like TikTok, drew my attention away, but now like Instagram is sort of like, no, come on back over here. We've got all the goods. I don't know.
So have you discovered any new hobbies or talents during quarantine?
I don't know about talents, but definitely hobbies. I mean, TikTok is probably a big one. Like I wasn't really making videos here in my office in my pajamas before shutdown happened. But I think like just the restriction of activity and location just kind of like brought that about. So that's definitely something that wasn't there before that I do every day now. We also got an inflatable pool for the backyard. So that, so that's been fun. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. TikTok has definitely taken over my life a lot during shutdown.
So what do you do to make yourself feel better when you're having a bad day?
That's a really good question. Exercising always helps. Like we were just talking about music, like putting on a good song, it can help a lot. Also, I find that if I'm like eating good foods, that also puts me in a good mood. Sometimes like comfort food. But yeah, I think just listening to music is what I do. and I get moving. I try to move around. I've heard that, you know, when you're feeling depressed or anxious and things like that, your body needs to like kick into fight or flight, because it kind of relieves yourself of a lot of the what is it? I'm blanking on the hormone that's in you that's bad, the like distress hormone. Anyway, it moving helps. Moving makes you feel better. I know that. It releases dopamine. I know moving releases dopamine and oxytocin, and those things are good.
Yeah, my sister got roller skates at the beginning of the summer, so now we go like around the block all the time. So yeah, it really helps. Yeah, being outside really helps when
being outside. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Being outside, like seeing some grass and some trees, you know, like it there's some, and sun. Like sun can actually improve your mood. Chemically speaking, I believe. I'm not a doctor. I'm saying a lot of medical things, and I know nothing about. I know nothing about medicine. My brother is Dr. Rose. I'm not Dr. Rose.
My last question for you is: who do you consider to be a real life superhero, and why?
Who do I consider to be a real life superhero, and why? Well, I would say in honor of her passing, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a superhero, if there ever was one in real life. I mean, her legacy is unmatched, and I don't think anybody has had such there are, you know, I could probably name a few. There's probably a handful of people that have had such an enormous effect on American history than her, and fighting for equal rights and justice. So yeah, I would say RBG is probably the closest thing we got to a real life superhero right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. When my whole family, when we found that out, we were all just crying.
Yeah, it was sad news. It was sad news. I think the whole country really felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister, I will have to say that my sister said something that really helped. She was saying what she likes to think when she starts to get sad about this, what she likes to think is that she knew we were going to be okay, so she was okay.
Right. I like that. Yeah. I think you got to remind yourself. You got to have like little mantras to remind yourself sometimes, and that can help as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, I also want to say, Maya, I love that you do this. I don't know if you know this, but I spent quite a bit of time in a hospital when I was a kid. I have something called Gaucher's disease, and it's an enzyme deficiency. And so I still get my infusion to this day. A nurse comes to my house and I get an infusion for a couple hours. But I used to go to the hospital in New York City to get my infusion, and I remember them rolling out a TV and watching Disney movies on there, and that was like the best part of making my trip there, was getting to watch these different programs. And so I just love that you make this show and you get to entertain everybody who's hanging at the hospital.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for calling in. I've been so excited to talk to you. So.
Oh, I so appreciate that, Maya. I was excited to talk to you too. Thank you for having me on.
Adam,
thank you.
It was great talking to you, man. I hope we get to do it again.
Yes, just give me a call whenever.
Okay, we will.
All right.
Okay. Awesome. Have a great day.
You too. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye, Maya.
Bye.